Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's study session. Today, and for the next few weeks, we are going to be working on our 3-bet construction range and playing post-flop in a 3-bet pot world. So today we're going to start 40 big blinds from the big blind. And let's take a look at some range construction here. Everyone finding 27% 3-bets with queen 3 offsuit? Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably. We did a hand history review of a player today, and he found a king 3 3-bets in this type of a scenario. It was pretty spicy. So our 3-betting range from the big blind is going to be composed of mixed jams throughout the low pairs, some offsuit combos that just want to run equity, a couple of spicy bluffs in the suited variety, a couple of spicy bluffs in the offsuited variety, and then this big swath of value hands. And because we have so many value hands against the button's very wide range, remember at 40 big blinds, the button is opening with offsuit 8s and suited 5s. So when they are this wide, we get to really push a lot of value hands. And to find bluffs for this, we choose a sliver of all kinds of good stuff. Now, this might seem kind of hard to remember. My friend, Louis Philippe, created this little thumbnail to help us out. 3-bet bluffing from the big blind. We base our strategy around king 5, king 6, king 7. And versus the cutoff, it picks up at king 7 and goes king 8, king 9. So as you can see, our bluffs center around this point. And you know that you can bluff some queens around here. You know that you can bluff some jacks around here. And you know that you can bluff some 10s around here. But the idea is that if this is your center point, you're able to find bluffs all around it. And that is going to be pretty good for you. So today, we will be playing a 3-bet pot defense range, and it's going to include all these hands. So we are going to have a fair bit of risky business because we will be 3-betting all of our combos. Normally we would be mixing calls, but since we're working on 3-bets, we are going to choose to 3-bet every sliver to maximize our ability to study post-flop. So we give it a raise, continue, and call. All right. Now, before we start doing some fun stuff, we're going to do a tiny little bit of theory work here. And take a look at some reports. So in GTO Wizard, one of the features you can use is you could filter reports in different ways, kind of give you an idea about different boards. So in this situation, we'll start off by looking at monotone boards and just gather the report for the spot where we have 3-bets against an opponent and we get a monotone board. We're going to have a 30% checking frequency, a 30%, 10% of the pot size bets.
Your charts look upside down to the way I always look at them.
Okay.
Right.
Some small betting, about 25%, and some half pot betting. If we come along, we take a look at our ace strategy on monotone boards, and we see that with ace and another Broadway, there is a swath of checking and primarily big bet size when we do bets. as the monotone board with an ace gets lower and lower, we lose the bigger size of bet, and the micro size bet becomes much more prominent. When we take a look at the kings in that same idea, kings with broadways are checking and have more half pot bets. Kings with little cards tend to have a lot of really small bets, both the 5 big blind and the 2 big blind size. And that pattern just kind of keeps repeating itself. When we take a look at the queens, we see that type of thing too. Lots of checks with 2 broadways. With the jacks, lots of checks with best ability to connect, jack 10, jack 9, jack 8 even, and then jack with smaller cards. We're betting small a lot. And then so on and so forth as we connect with the 10, 9, 8. And so you'll see where there is connectedness, it drives up our bet sizing. We even start to see some of these purple bets, which are pot and all in. And that's the pattern we're going to see a bit more tonight as we kind of look at things. Connectedness kind of drives up our bet size in 3-bet pots. And I wouldn't have thought that was very intuitive. Let's take a look at our flush draw boards now. And so again, paired ace boards. We'll take a look at paired boards in a little bit, but boards with a flush draw. Again, when there are multiple Broadway cards with the ace, it is checking or half pot betting a lot. Once you start getting into ace 9 and lower, the sizing continues to go down. It prefers to use the small or even micro size all throughout the rest of the ace range. The king range, again, is going to have this type of a strategy where there's a lot of checking. When we bet, we tend to bet big. As we get to king 9 and king 8, we lose those checks and we start playing with a much more prominent small bet sizing. In the queens, as we start to see these middling connected boards, we start to see the overbet and pot bet sizing coming in. Also still very heavily checked, even in a 3-bet pot. And we see some queen 7 and queen 6 and queen 5 with mixing sizings, primarily using the 5 big blind size, the quarter pot size. These jack 10 boards really want to push equity. There are a lot of spots here where you are going to be very polar in your leads, and you are checking a ton. Like this is a more than 60% check strategy here. Jack low, betting a lot. 10, 9, 8, 10, 9, 5 with a flush draw. Again, very polar strategy here. And low and repeated. Connectedness, driving up the bet sizing in 3-bet pots. Even completed equity boards, right? Like 9-8-6, where there is flopped straights. You are very polar with your strategy. So this is going to be high value hands, high equity hands. We see the same thing with connectedness around the 8 and the 7, and even the connectedness on low boards, 7, 6, 5 with a flush draw. And we still have a very prominent polar strategy here. But at this point, we are betting range, as you can see. There's very little checking on 3-bet pots, 8 or lower. We'll take a look at one more thing here. Rainbow changes it. Little bit. As we become more rainbow and less worried about draws and equity, the small size tends to weather a little bit better. Right, we still see the same type of pattern. More checks on 2 Broadway boards. Big sizings on the 2 Broadway boards when we bet. Small sizings. Checking on 2 Broadway boards again. Small sizings. Some polar options around the Queen Jack 10, but less than when there was a flush draw. Still fairly prevalent around the locked up equity boards of a 10-9-8, 10-9-7 rainbow. And again, when we have connectedness around 9, around the 8, around the 7, around the 6. So the connectedness of the board in 3-bet pots really drives up this occasional polar bet sizing. We're going to look at 1 or 2 more. We're going to look at paired boards in a rainbow setting. And we can see that in a 3-bet pot, the low part of the deck, we are fairly much range betting. Once we start to get into the 10s, we have some checks. But again, this is one of those spots, paired bet boards are primarily just betting throughout and mixing the small and the medium sizes. The high cards, the aces and the kings, have slightly more smaller sizes. And as you get lower and lower with the pair, you generally are sizing up the half pot more and more prominently. When it is a paired board with a flush draw, we now have a few more checks. We now have a few polar bets, but not very much on a paired board. And again, a little less of the half pot size, a little more of the 1/4 pot size. So that should help us play a little bit post flop. So now we're going to go pre-flop, and we see this ace, king, jack. Is this a half pot, a 1/4 pot, or a 10th size pot? Or overbet?
All right, who paid attention in class?
That's right.
I don't know, 5?
5 seems pretty reasonable. Are you checking here ever?
Well, yeah,
Not this hand.
I was getting ready to ask you, why didn't you put a check in as an option?
It's definitely there.
In game, I would never ever check this hand.
No, I don't think we check. Hey,
I think we size up. This is a really good
But-
board for our 3-betting range relative to button. Yeah, I think we go half pot a lot on this.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Is it such a good board for us that he's going to have a hard time continuing, considering we're holding the card that he's most likely to continue with?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are blocking this continues.
But he still has lots of aces and kings here too.
We're gonna fold some pairs here, I would think. You're probably gonna fold.
2% check.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think what you fold here that you want to fold is like the pair, like the small pairs, like the 4s,
Like-
5s, 6s type hands.
Like pocket 9s.
I can see 9s fold. I think 9s might mix some calling, but I think like
So-
pocket 6 is probably just fold.
When we do check, what is the plan?
When we do check,
Yeah, are we check ripping it?
let's take a look.
I think
Not sure.
anything based on
Cheat, you got some background
Pete.
noise?
Yeah, I got him. Okay,
okay.
I just had to figure out who had the tunes on.
I lost track of those. Oh, I think it depends how much he bets.
Yeah, I would think this would be a small bet. Like, I think if you check, I mean, I think his primary size is
No, I
gonna be
mean,
like
he was
quarter.
asking if we check, what's our
Yeah,
plan?
no, you're on the
Yeah, I
same
did,
page.
well, I mean, it's gonna be a check. I mean, the button's primary bet size would be small, so I don't think we would rip a lot, but I think I think our check raises would be like. Whatever, like,
Yeah,
it
that
would
might
be
a
all, I don't
poor
think it would
shot.
be all in very much.
When we
I
take the
guess if
check
he
line,
goes 2, we can call. I mean, I don't know.
Looks
Pretty
Our-
like
small.
opponent
bet
has a
5.
lot of betting 5.
Yeah,
So when
thought
they
quarter to
bet
third.
5, our response with queen deuce, is that what we had?
Queen 3.
Queen 3.
Queen 3? Oh,
effectively.
look at that check raise. Savage animal. But all the rest of the queens are just calling. So it's a balancing bluff here. But yeah. They
Interesting.
all just want to call and try and realize that.
Thank you.
No problem. So we take the big bet size, which is the primary frequency here. Our opponent calls and the king pairs.
This is a bad card.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding? We have pocket aces, we have pocket kings, we have ace king. Our opponents, do they have
But
some of
now,
that?
we're really blocking. Oh, we are really blocking the kind of hands that we kind of want.
Mhm.
Well, SPR is an issue here too, because we have an SPR of 0.5. So. I
Yeah, you
think
don't
that-
get to, but yeah, that's a problem. You don't get to bluff very much here.
So
Why
I think
not?
that decreases our
If we have
second
value,
turn barrels.
Joey, your
if we
thought?
ha- if we have value bets, we're gonna have bluffs.
So I will, I'll draw your attention to this. What suit turned here?
Club.
So did our opponent pick up any backdoor equity?
No,
No,
there's no flushes available.
So now it comes down to the straight raw equity of who has the better hand. And our range advantage is still, even though our opponent called, we still have the best aces and the best kings and quads and full houses here.
So
I
so
would
I
be
would challenge that a little, like,
Yeah, I
are
would
we really
too.
betting half pot on the flop with a king very often?
Well, let's take a look.
No, but, and because
Besides,
I
like,
think the
ace
problem now
king
is we've
and-
folded out a lot of the stuff that. I think we're at a pretty significant range disadvantage, even though we may have more nuts.
Okay. So throughout the most of the graph, we struggle, but at the top, we do have this cleft where we still have the advantage, but only at the top end. We do struggle throughout the body of the graph here.
we can look at raw equity for the entire range.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are not, you're right, we're not doing well.
You're not. All right, so is this king a good card for us? Does not look like it.
Yeah, well, that equity disparity says that this is gonna be a check and pray for the gin 10.
Okay, check. It still does have some bets. Still pretty competitive, but
Yeah,
Check
I'm sure
is
it's gonna
okay.
try to, it's sure it's gotta find some queens that it has to bluff.
The thing is that this SPR, even if we jam, like they're gonna call with a lot of aces.
well, it wasn't jamming, right? Because like when we have the super nuts here, we're trying to get called, which is why it goes small, right? Like there wasn't an all inside. It was only going with quarter pot or whatever it is. And our opponent has the same idea, right? They give us a 10-1 to draw to our straight. Do we take it at this price? We're definitely getting the pot odds.
We're getting direct odds, so we call.
Feels,
We might be
feels
draw-
awful, but I guess we call.
No,
Well,
I think we've,
wait, wait.
we gotta fold something.
Don't click button yet. Don't be a Louie.
Relax.
On a paired board, we could be drawing dead.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta consider that too.
True, but look at the price you're getting.
Sure, we could be.
Yeah, I think you got a point. We could be dead, but
We just,
getting direct odds to draw to a 10, so we call.
We're getting 11 to 1 and the flush never counterfeits us. Yeah, Reiner?
But
I
was just
think
gonna
that's
add,
a
like-
fold.
I was just gonna add, like, I don't know if there's anything to this, but we're getting direct odds for the gut shot, but we're also probably gonna get a lot of free showdowns if we get a queen. And so we can turn a pair of queens into some showdown value, because there's gonna be lots of checkbacks, right?
I just would much rather have a pair here than having the queen. I think the queen is just. I don't think the queen's a strong enough card in and of
Queen
itself
such a
to
bad-
continue.
So, yeah,
I would much
I
rather
still-
have a jack here. I would much rather be drawing to a boat than. The
It's just
drawing
not
to
a
a
I
straight.
pot odds.
disagree with that.
The bet is so small that that's the.
Although
the
jack could be
overriding
good
factor here.
sometimes.
Yeah,
We
Well,
have a
we're gonna-
horrible hand, but we have incredible spot odds.
We're gonna click it and then we're
Alright.
gonna investigate the spot.
well, if all of our tens are good,
I fold.
we have 8% equity.
Mhm.
If we're just looking at tens, and
Even 9%.
getting 10 to 1, we need,
10 to 1 is 9% equity.
And it's actually 11 to 1. It's four to win 43. So you can see our queens are primarily folding here. Right? We're just stuffing most of our aces.
Alright, so the jack is ever so slightly better.
yeah, and again, because I think in this spot, you just want to be drawing to a boat. More than you want on a paired board than you want to be drawing to a straight, which could just be drawing dead.
Yeah, so pocket
But if
tens
you-
and pocket queens.
If you're already drawing dead and you hit your boat, you're still losing.
Mhm.
Yeah, but the thing about like tens and queens, obviously, because queens and tens can still also draw
It's like,
to,
I guess against
boats.
king 10, it's better to have the jack. That's the one.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Look
weird
at
spot,
our-
right? Like,
Or pocket
Six-
tens if he ever has that.
67% of their range is betting this size. This is their size. Like 30% checks, 67% bet this size. With every ace, all the
Everything
kings,
beats us.
all the queens, all the jacks, right? And just like checking all
Wait.
of these sets and
no,
pairs.
there's one hand in there that we beat. 10-8 suited.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're beating 10-8 and 10-9.
10, 8, and 9, yeah.
Oh yeah, Jack 8, Jack 9. Yeah.
Well, we are
Please
chopping
help us
with
out.
the queen 7, queen 8, queen 9.
Yeah. Alright, but mainly just fold is fine.
Oh my. Wow. Can't imagine we're turning this into a bluff, are we?
Nah.
We are.
What the?
Whoa.
well, I mean, you kind of have. Well, you kind of have to now because if you think about what you're really calling with here, you're calling with aces, which now a boat.
Uh-huh.
You're calling with. You're
Kings.
calling with aces, which now have a boat, and you're calling with tens, which now have a boat,
That's a
and
suicide.
jacks, which now have a boat.
Does it matter? Is it like the queen of spades thing when there's no king of spades on board?
We get a jack to fold.
There is no
Is it
way
queen of
anybody
spades when
folds.
it's this? Let's take a look.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it makes
Might
makes
do
sense
it the
because so much
most.
because our ranges are so strong at that point that like anything that's left is pretty much bluffing. I wouldn't be surprised if we bluffed that like 60-70% of the time. Like we're just always like piling that.
So let's take a look at what our range does. And our range is 56% of the time stuffing it, 30% of the time giving up.
Yeah, I'm surprised it even, I thought it might not even bet small at all, but I guess it
Yeah,
does with queens.
Yeah, it's giving up with a jack, giving up with tens, and just stuffing everything else.
That's not really
Yeah.
giving, it's really giving up, it's checking.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would do. I don't know what tens would do to a shove. Tens would just
Well,
fold,
let's take a look.
probably just
Yeah,
folds.
that one must fold,
Yeah, tens can't call.
but the jacks might call it
Pocket-
off, right?
Pocket tens calling
Huh,
to the shove.
Well,
This
no,
SPR.
if we, I think he was talking about if we check.
If we,
and then
if we,
the button
yeah, no, yeah, I
shoves.
was talking about if we check and the button
Oh.
shoves, what do
Oh.
tens do? Do tens just always fold? I would think
Right.
so,
Right.
but because I
Well,
think we would have enough jacks
Opponent
left to like
shoves.
call. Yeah,
yeah.
We just call
and the
jacks
jack
and
call, yeah.
Huh.
Wow, alright, fun one to start it off.
so let's while we are here, we'll take a look at kind of the whole flop node. I showed the range briefly earlier, but we'll take a look at it again. And one of the things, that we've been really looking at is this idea here, right? Getting in here, and when you have these combos and you are starting to find ways to put these combos in your game with 3 bets, you're going to get in some pretty messy spots post flop. And this portion is going to be pretty easy to play, right? This is about getting your value in. This is the what was it? The 3 dragon heads that I posted. This is the knit portion of the range that's just licking its chops, right? This is the GTO portion. And if you're not playing with this type of stuff and you're just 3-betting randomly all over the board, well,
yeah.
there are players who do
I'm really
that.
curious though, like in a lot of spots, suitedness is a big deal, but in these big blind spots, it doesn't really pick suited hands to use as 3-bet bluffs. Do we know why that is, just in general?
Because of the SPR after we 3-bet. It's gonna be better for top pair type hands.
Oh,
and
that,
not
yep,
for
that
the
makes
suited.
sense. Yep. Absolutely. So if we were like at 100 bigs, it would probably, I would think the
Also, I
range
think-
construction would be significantly different.
It
Yes,
might
it would.
also have to do with us being out of position. Like we're always out of position, right? And we're gonna under realize. Whereas
Yeah,
if we keep the pot small, we can realize much better with the suited hands.
Yeah, but Joey makes a really good point about the SPR, and it's something once you said it, it just clicked.
So
Yeah,
By
when
that,
we
like
look at
it's way better for us to have a king or an ace here than it is to worry about trying to spike a flush with
Yeah,
an
'cause-
SPR. It's gonna be like 3 or 2.
After we 3-bet, the pot's SPR.
This is gonna hold true deeper too,
One and a
though.
half to 1.
Yeah.
If we look at
So-
100, it's still gonna be the same heuristic. Well, alright, I take it
It's-
back. You'll add in suited stuff. Alright, I take it back, I take it back.
Yeah, so the heuristic here is against the late position opponents, we are targeting the offsuit branch of their hands. And so here, our opponent is in here with some offsuit 7s, some offsuit 8s, some offsuit 9s. And when we 3-bet, we are 3-betting these combos that are just a little bit worse with a high card blocker. And so the part of the range that we're targeting is directly above what we're 3-betting. So when we're 3-betting Jack 7, Jack 8, we're hoping our opponent folds Jack 9, Queen 9, right? When we're 3-betting 10, 6, 10, 7, we hope our opponent is folding Jack 8, Jack 9, right? When we're 3-betting King 6 and King 5, we're hoping our opponent is folding King 8 and King 9 and King 10 off even maybe, right? And
So,
if we look at the big blinds, the button's response, we do see that this huge swath of hands all folds to our 3-bets.
that's a heuristic that you'll see with a lot of three betting. Like you're usually your three you'll see this like in position three betting too. Like you'll like the reason you'll three bet like some like king X suit middling king X suited is to get the better king X suited to fold.
Also,
this-
if you have an opponent who's a little bit wider, a little bit splashier, someone who maybe opens any two suited cards from the button, Galen, this is an even more effective tactic and even more important to implement. Right? So if you have
That's what I was gonna ask is like, how would you adjust? Let's say they are a pip or two too wide. Would you adjust down a pip or two as well?
yeah, well, you can expand your range here, right? So as their range expands, our range can expand a little bit too. But the other thing you can do is you can increase the frequency of your three betting with combos like this, as opposed to looking to bring in a new combo into the range.
You could also be a little more linear too against really aggro players.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, as you expand your bluff
Well-
range, you also get to expand your value range.
Exactly.
So now
That's
maybe
yeah.
King
So you don't
Jack
want to
suited.
yeah, you
It-
don't want to necessarily want to over bluff, but what you want to do is start to add in like maybe king jack suited in full or king 10
Well,
suited partially,
that-
right?
That all depends. It's not depending on how aggressive they are when they open, but what they're going to call with. If they're going to
Right.
open and call wide, then you want hands that have better top pair qualities.
You wanna be more linear,
But if
right?
they're gonna open and fold properly, then you wanna be more polarized.
Yeah, well, even
Good
against
point.
the wide calls, like when you're bluffing with an ace or a king in your hand, you just make a top pair that's going to be pretty resilient against a wide range. That they're just going to have a hard time. So the ace
Yeah.
and the king blockers are still going to be very relevant and are still going to be pretty resilient no matter kind of what a person does with their range. Okay. Is this one a 3-bet or a stuff? Or
And all day.
3-bet.
It's yeah, three, but I don't think you ever stuff like the suited portion of your range.
Oh, there is some suited stuffing, but this one,
I mean,
We'll try and
yeah,
find it.
the ace high, yeah, there's probably some of the king X that stuffs.
all right. Two broadways with
See
a
it, the
flush draw.
river?
See the river. Like that.
We could do anything.
You're right. Probably can't make a mistake here. Which mistake would you like to try and make?
I would
This
like to
seems like a nice place to
check.
go for a geeky check raise.
I would
Okay.
check call, I think.
I bet 5
I would just.
or
God,
even
I
4. if
literally,
there
I
was
think you
an
can do
option.
anything here and you're fine. I think the equities here
Yeah.
probably run really close.
I think there is going to be some of this. I think there's going to be some of this and some of this.
So maybe my sample's too small, but we bet half pot on ace, king, jack, rainbow with queen 3 off. Should we not also bet the same amount with like a really strong draw like this? Or
this
could we
is,
get away
a
with
di- this is a
9.5?
much different board.
Yeah, true. Well, yeah, it is. I mean,
I'm liking the 9.95 if we bet.
We've heard a pretty
Maybe.
good variety of stuff.
Put it in every bucket.
Check.
mostly checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
So this
I
is
think
our
this is a check with
strongest.
an intention to check raise.
This is our strongest unpaired hand.
Right.
So it kind of wants to go in the check bucket a lot. And like you can see, like 18.12 EVs. This is not checking to fold, right? This is never going to fold. And it's
As
going to
weird
be
as it
very
sounds.
resilient against our opponent's bets.
Hmm,
I think it's too good to raise.
Maybe, I mean, you have a good point. It's got a ton of equity, but check raising is really fun.
Yeah, but we just win a lot, right? Like
Eh,
it's just like I think it's You could probably do, yeah, this feels like a spot where
Well-
I would probably check call this a
Do we-
lot, but. Just because I think we're gonna have some other draws that maybe we might want to start raising here, but generally you don't start blasting really good flush draws on the
Well-
flop.
The simple way to think about it is how do GTO solvers pick out their bluffs? Do they go from the top down or the bottom up?
I guess from the bottom up, but it's also somewhat balanced, right? I mean, so our check raises are gonna have to balance just like any other part of our range.
So if we think about like, well, think about what hands would we be like check raising here?
So
9 of
from
spades.
our value portion,
Yeah, like think about what our value portion is and then kind of,
probably some kings that need protection with the marginal kicker.
Yep.
Like king 10 suited. And then obviously a hand like this. And then from another portion, if we were to 3-bet fours, bottom set would be a good candidate for a check raise.
Jacks,
Or pocket jacks.
okay, so I'm
Mm.
thinking that's. What,
queen 10.
I wanna check raise queen 9 of spades if we have it, or 10
Yeah,
9 of
that's-
spades.
That's what, like, if we're gonna bluff, we're gonna be bluffing queen highs, not ace highs.
We're gonna call here, then we're gonna take a look at the range, see what everything's doing. Because this is
Yeah.
just clearly a call to me. But we are gonna see what spades are check raising here. Part of the problem too is when we hold the ace and the queen of spades and the king and the jacks out here, our opponent only has one big spade draw. So we're just blocking a lot of the stuff that we kind of want to come along for the party. So you can see we are driven by having a small spade in our hand with the king. All of the kings are pretty much going for some check raising. The jacks are just fairly easily calling. And our flush draws are just primarily calling.
So we don't have any flush draws below aces, though.
Yeah, we only have ace high flush draws. So we actually have really few combos of flush draws on this board. I guess no jack 10, no. Yeah, none of them.
No,
Jack
jack's a
10,
spade.
Jack is there, yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't have the 10 9, we don't have
Yeah.
9 8.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
sense
fuck.
that some of our bluffs turn out to be like the ace high and queen high hands that have that probably mirror like our king
Backdoor
highs.
wheel plus.
Backdoor
yeah.
wheels, probably with a
Totally.
spade a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Because those hands want to push equity. I think ace queen just suited with ace queen of spades just is one of those too strong to turn into a bluff type hands.
Yeah, the
Maybe
bluffs that we
not
want
quite.
to have the elements of being able to turn a Broadway draw and turn a wheel draw and turn a spade draw.
Yeah.
Right? Is a lot of what we want to do our check raising with. See a little bit of the combo straight draws here on the offsuit side, but really driven by having a spade in our hand.
I wonder if we check raise aces just to use protection on such a wet board.
Yep. Yeah, when we check, it's always to check raise here.
Are we
Use
Plus,
the
check
if we
raising on
check
everything
call,
and
he's
putting our aces? Yeah, we are.
he's
Yeah.
seeing 5 cards for 2 big blinds basically, right? Cuz he can always check the turn if we just call. Which is kind of a disaster with aces.
Oh, we turn a very nice marginal made hand.
Check call again.
Check. Well, we'll see what the opponent does. They bet a very nice size. Okay.
I don't think we're doing anything other than calling.
So we picked up equity in lots of different ways. We picked up a gut shot. We still have our flush draw. We now have a pair. Is this strong enough just to run equity?
No, I think the marginal made hand overrides the bluff.
What are we gonna bluff on this turn?
10x.
Yeah, we're gonna have tens. We could even
we have any?
probably even start turning tens into a bluff. We'll have bluffs and tens. We'll have 10-8,
Okay.
10-8 off, 10-7 off, probably.
9, 10 of spades would be interesting. That's-
10-9 of a spade was not in the range.
I mean 10-8, 10, so like
I
we'll
mean,
still
could
have,
be
we'll have a little bit slivers of
Jack
10x.
10, we did 10 of a spade.
Yeah.
So set, aces. Ace king. Ace king. Ace tens. 7, 10, 6, 10. It does use the worst tens to turn into a bluff here.
Yeah, ace 10
You're a
off,
little,
king 10 off.
little muffled, Peter.
Sorry, it takes the worst tens and turns them into a bluff.
Cool.
Okay.
So we do have 10-6 somehow with a spade, I guess.
Probably really like, oh, well, okay.
All right.
Alright,
Is this a
is this
spot
a
where we
funky
go
lead?
wallet?
I don't think solver usually leads when.
What do you have the
gets fed into
super
twice.
nuts? Like,
We saw we only have 4 flushes, right? So probably check.
I like to check.
I don't bet 3, I
Yeah.
bet 5 or 6.
eh,
I don't think this is a bet. But
I don't think this is a spot where we lead ever. I think this is a pure check spot.
Yeah.
We gotta let him bluff his, 10 of spades.
Especially with this hand, because we have this board on lock.
Oh,
Like-
well,
I kinda disagree, I don't think we check.
the only things he's gonna bet is the king of spades and the 10 of spades, right? He's pretty much just gonna check back every other hand that's out there.
Yeah,
I don't think we can check this hand, but we'll take a peek.
Does he still have bluffs though? Or we just would rather try to get paid?
Well, he does. He has the
He's-
king of spades that's a bluff, and he has the 10 of spades that's a bluff.
Well, the king of spades might be too good to bluff,
Yeah,
right?
but he's still, but think about it. He's still gonna have kings here. He's gonna have 2 pair hands here. Those hands are not
But
gonna,
bet
those hands are
12.
never gonna check back. He's gonna have
All right.
sets here. Those hands will never
flush
check.
and a straight is there.
It's 100%.
It's checking.
Wow.
Yeah.
If
it's
the
pure.
GTO bot knows we only have those 4 flush combos, but our in-game opponents might check back too much.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, I
and
think
that's fair, right? But but if you've got somebody, opponent's got jacks there, like they're gonna bet unless they're
Yeah.
really weak tight. Like,
So let's see what our opponent is betting for value, because that's kind of the measure of how successful this bet is. When we check, what does their range bet? Their range is all in or fold, and 63% goes all in. So we unfortunately found ace 9, which is just one of the hands that doesn't go all in. But yeah, when we check, 63% of the time we get paid. So it's good.
you
Alright.
want to go
It's just-
back to speed and see if we have any leads at all on the river.
Sure. On the turn or on the river?
On the river.
No, it was a 100% check. No leads on that river. And I think it's partly because we actually have so few combos of flush here,
Well,
right? We've only got 3 or 4 combos of flush. So
most of the time in the GTO solver world, if your opponent double barrels and you river the nuts out of position, it's almost always a check from what I remember.
yeah, I would agree with that too, because his range is going to just be should be strong, right? And he should have tons of hands that he wants to bet.
I think you can make exceptions against population, but solver it's gonna check.
All in?
This one is a rip.
Oh, there's a sliver of small though, if we're gonna play every hand as a.
Huh.
I think it was-
As difficult as possible, right?
the easiest thing to do is just rip everything deuces through 8, but
Yeah.
the middle ones, they sometimes get up to some real trouble.
Oh, that's way more than a sliver.
Uh-huh. Oh, and they
Aw,
just stuff it
man.
in our face.
You know what? And sometimes I was gonna say in solver world, it's
Got 'em.
call.
Uh,
Pairs are resilient.
we were gonna rip it anyways. All right.
It
Raise
was in
or
a
jam?
deuce, you know?
This has the
That
smallest
sounds like a
bets.
queen three, the first hand.
This doesn't have any rips and it's the smallest sliver of raises.
Perfect. We're living in the slivers. This is 3-bet pot night. Let's go. Flop top
Let's
pair.
go.
So queen 9-3. So disconnected from the third card. 2 cards relatively close together, driving up the size with the flush draw, driving up the size.
And
Yeah,
a
with the
straight draw.
9.
I think it's fine to bet half here. Just,
Yeah, 9, yeah.
You're 9.
Yep.
I think if you just think every queen just bets here,
Let's
pushes
take a look.
equity.
Yeah, at this SPR, we're never folding and we need some protection.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know we would have any
And get
small
value
bets on,
from a lot of stuff.
we play very few small bets on that board specifically.
So queen 3 and queen 9, which are the 2 pairs, small bet.
Mm.
All the rest of the queens with the big bet. When you have a
Except for
9, it's primarily checking. And jacks, look at this. Okay, queens primarily checking. Kings, aces, and jacks, give it a little go. And occasionally getting after it small with these small pairs, trying a one and done with a spade in your hand. Okay. Oh,
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck us, we got what we wanted.
Rudy,
GG.
bye.
GG. He
Yeah,
has tens, it's fine.
bigs. Hey, he's got some combo draws here.
yeah, it's queen 5.
He'll live out.
Aki, we
Oh,
get
nice.
him. And this guy's going to the cage saying, "You wouldn't believe what this guy 3-bet me with.
Queen 4, no way.
That guy's a maniac." All right,
If
so
it,
lots of gems, but let's give it a click. Get ourselves in trouble. Oh,
It's
fish
a
on the
Lots.
line. Fish on the line.
Check. I think you check because small SPR in our hands. This is top of your range. I
well,
don't.
I would bet 5.
it- Broadway
Word
low,
is-
low, Broadway low, low's almost always been almost a range bet when we looked at it.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's fair.
I think it's going to have a lot of these 2 sizes, and with this specific hand, I'm
deuce.
clicking this button. Give me
Yeah,
the deuce. All right, but both are very competitive options here, right? We took a look at the range, and
Well, yeah, that is okay.
yeah, high, low, low.
Yeah, this is one where I would mess up because I would just check this like.
It's gonna check through a ton.
So 3-bet pots, right? We want, and this is why we study it, right? Because how often are we screwing up and just c-bet standard 1/3 pot here, right? There is a spot where you want to use a smaller size. There is a spot where you want to use a bigger size. I mean, for a long time, and I was an advocate of it. If I 3-bet, I c-bet, and I just bet a third pot kind of with range. But as I've come to have a better understanding of having different sizes on it, it's pretty cool to see, hey, we just get some different sizes bets here. Okay. We get a card that brings in the straight 7-8. Not a huge portion of our range. And brings in the straight draw and flush draw at the top. We bet small. Do we continue barreling?
I like gray. Although we could maybe make some tricky check now.
6 gets us to a spear of 1, and then we can shove it over. I like 6.
Just
even-
feels too small if we wanna have a bluff ever.
Even 2.5 gets us to an SPR of 1. So, yeah, I think it's still going to bet. I think it's still going to bet small. So if we had ace king, how big would we want to bet here?
think
I think
ace
ace
king would be
king,
going more
you
like
still
half.
wanna just get it all in,
This
so the same
king would
size.
be half.
So the spade, does it drive us down to betting 6?
I would bet 6.
I know GTO solver does this, but I have trouble betting
Ooh.
11 here. Cause the pot
Pray or
geometry just
check.
looks all screwed up.
Pray or
Yeah.
check.
Check raise all in probably.
Yeah, I
on
think it is
fire tonight.
SPR as the solver, is it really all that focused on pot geometry?
Interesting. Let's take this check line, because like that's just gonna either push him out or drive it in. And our
Yeah.
opponent gives us a tiny bet.
No ship it.
Click it or ship it?
Can we click?
What are we
I,
afraid of?
I would really like to click here.
I don't, oh yeah, I think we just call our hands too good.
Oh,
All right.
I'm
Got like
torn.
80% equity.
Call and click are both fine.
Both fine.
When we play it as a call, we're gonna check this river then.
Yes.
Check.
Okay.
Yeah, and so this is the risk of, right, and so this is the risk of like playing our hand that way on the turn.
Yep.
Is that this happens a lot, that
Well, I don't know if we're gonna get that much more money from 9x anyway, right?
yeah, maybe, yeah, but not in that spot, but like if we went back to that spot, like.
If we bet 12, we get like 6 more bigs out of him, but I think it's good to have some stuff to protect our range that unblocks all their potential bluffs and value.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do devil's advocate and we'll see. We'll give him the bet size on the turn and we'll check raise him and see what he calls with. He had like a 9, right? So he bet 6. If we give him the 17 big blind check raise, what is his strategy?
He starts stuffing all of
He
his
folds
kings.
it.
He's
But
gonna
if we
call
were to bet
all the
12
kings,
ourselves,
yeah.
I think he would call it.
We outright bet 12.
But if it bets 12, he does a ton of calling and then we can just stuff like most rivers and we get, and he's probably gonna always call with a king.
It's a call, yet it's minus EV. Or
Yeah.
at least some of it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
so
of
he's
the
not
nine.
going to defend the river then, right? If it's minus EV here.
Yeah.
But if he has a king, he's gonna call everything.
Yeah.
All right. 3-bet day. Let's go. So here we go. We're on the value side of things, but the bottom of the value range. Against the button, King Jack is going to be a value hand here. Ooh. 2 Broadways, some
Got it.
connectedness. Rainbow. What are we going to do here? Check or bet?
I think our range mostly wants to
Maybe
bet.
this is the spot for 2?
This is a bet 5.
I'm unsure.
I mean,
Yeah.
we have king high, we benefit from fold equity, so.
I think this is
I
a
would
hand
bet
where I
five.
think our range wants to bet like medium mostly, so. I would think
I think I agree. 5.
it's either 5 or 9.95.
alright.
Yeah.
Okay, we have the second best unpaired
Maybe we
hand.
check. I remember like queen 10-9 and jack 10-9, there's a ton of checking, but I don't remember ace 10-9.
So ace with a Broadway, there is going to be a more polarized strategy. I think it's going to pick these two largely. And I think it's going to pick this one a lot.
Oh,
Oh, it's
I-
just
I
large
was-
or larger.
I was
Wow.
leaning towards check with the. Cause this is the best unpaired hand we're gonna have.
Yeah, we just don't check much.
Don't check much, yeah.
Don't check much. Well, with this combo, let's take a look at the
With
range.
this guy.
I don't know.
Range is only
18%.
20%
Oh, wow.
checking. And it
Okay.
is almost always using this frequency, but has a pretty robust pot strategy here too. That is spicy.
Yeah, and I think this is
75.
because we are into some degree like we can just cooler a lot. When we're at the top of our range, we just cooler a lot of like worse aces.
Jack 10 suited, bet 75. It's a weird mergey size for that hand.
Okay, so I see what's happening. There's a lot of draws that our opponent's going to have that interact with the 10 and the 9. And so it's sizing up with all of these aces to make him pay for the draw.
Yeah,
Right.
it's betting. It makes sense. It's betting aces. It's protection betting.
Yeah.
It's best. A lot of its best hands, and so when you do that, you have to find a lot of other stuff to bet with that.
It's
Which
pretty
is
hard
even
for
why
him
it's
to
going
not
down
hit
and
this
betting like
somehow.
5s and 4s and stuff like that.
So I guess we go big. Like what air does he have? Like true air? It's like
No.
under pairs and that's about it.
Yeah, like pocket 7s and lower, some like, yeah, exactly. Like everything else is here, right? Like King X of clubs is this stuff that we're trying to fold. Yeah.
But yet we're never checking. though.
Ooh, yeah.
Vegas and the Mirage.
Hey,
Uh,
it's a
King Jack.
rainbow.
Um. Oh,
I'm always
God.
checking.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when
Wait,
he
am
calls
I?
9,
Think
especially
so.
when he calls that size of bet. We're gonna get the money in at some point, right? Even if it goes check, we can.
You're gonna have stuff river.
Worst case, we chop on a bad river.
I wonder if we get to bet here.
Well,
because
no,
this
okay, worst
straight
case. we lose,
unblocks
but-
always continues, right?
I
So
bet
Yeah,
all
this
his
small.
Yeah,
pairs,
we're gonna have hands that are gonna
always-
want to bet here,
always
but
sinks.
I'm not sure that the nuts need to bet here.
Yeah, I think the straight has a unique property of unblocking their continues.
Yeah, because it's
There is
block. It's
betting.
unblocking. We're unblocking all of the sets. We're unblocking ace 10, ace queen.
So I think
You
you
can-
get the better, I think, too, with the straight.
We could get paid when he has a jack and any other Broadway card.
I bet 4.
Oh, yeah,
My
4
theory
is
is busted.
primarily checking, but 4 is definitely a thing.
Well-
The thing is, if he has those hands, he'll bet anyway, Larry.
The
Right?
reason we can check is because the SPR is so small. We,
Yeah.
we,
Once we unblock.
we can wait till the river to try to get stacks in and hopefully he bluffs
Sure.
off.
Okay, he bluffed it. Well, no. Whew.
Set of queens. All right. Snowman. Oh, this is just stuff.
Stuff.
Stuff. It's Jack. Go get it fixed.
We're running good tonight.
Oh,
So on the, back to the ace 10-9, were you even big betting with our like queen 3 off there, right?
yeah. Yeah, this is 10-9.
Seems like we have too much air to, well, I don't know.
It's because we're value betting all our aces. So we just bet all of our bluffs as well. Right? So yeah, all of our queens are doing it, all of our jacks are doing it. Right? Even our 10s and 9s. Like we're just betting so much of this range.
Okay, but some of the give ups do come from down there. That makes sense.
Yeah, our checks
you-
come from having a king.
Peter, can you click on the button when we 3-bet him pre-flop? Are we calling queens, kings, and aces?
Is he calling kings, queens, and aces, you mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, at
Okay.
some
Okay.
frequency.
Yeah, he has a little bit of
Alright.
jamming with queens,
That's
but
what okay. Jacks, that's what I was thinking. Jacks and 10s are jamming and those 3, okay.
is jamming all this stuff and then trapping with this.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're getting in trouble again. Oh, boy. Look at the continuity of this board.
Check.
Heck. Broadway's super connected, flush draw.
Was this one
So
like a range check almost? Like 80%?
think this is gonna have a lot of checks and is gonna have a little bit of
Lot of-
this.
Yeah, big bets. No check.
Yeah, this board is locked up equity with a flush draw. Turn's gonna change things a lot. There's gonna be hands that are really pushing for this. Is this one of them?
No.
No,
No,
there's-
and I'm not convinced, yeah, I'm not convinced there's all that much of that,
Ooh,
to be
let's take a
honest.
peek.
There may be a little bit, but I think it's gonna primarily still be mostly checking a little bit of small betting.
Sure. Some small betting for sure, but like 6% jams, 12% jams, none of it. None of it. It is all small and it is primarily checking on this board. Spicy. Okay. That is very interesting. Betting heavily in this area. A little bit in this area. Okay, that's straights and straight draws. And then the worst stuff. Okay. This middle of the range goes check, check. Ooh. King is good for us as a 3-better. Does our marginal mid hand want to check? Gets
Eh.
double flush draw board with a 4-liner.
I'm starting to wonder if this is actually marginally made anymore.
I know, but I don't wanna bluff it either, right? I wanna just check fold, I think. Maybe we get to showdown
no.
somehow and, or get a 10 on the river.
Okay.
If it goes check, check.
It does a little micro betting.
Phew. Alright, I guess that makes sense.
Half pot bet. Can we get out of here?
I'm outta here.
Oh, gross stuff. I guess. And kings and tens. All right. King 5. Oh, we are merciless today. 3-betting. All right. Remember our Louis Philippe graphic? Get out your king 5, king 6, king 7. And we flop at the king. King with another Broadway. And a rainbow board. 9-5.
I'm a fan of. Yeah, I would
I
check
mean,
some.
I think a quarter
a
is a
lot,
thing
actually.
here. I think a quarter is a thing, but I think it's probably gonna be a half mostly. I think a quarter or a half is probably gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Well, oh, I was sure I was gonna say something.
Sorry, go ahead, Joey.
You have to decide if you want to turn this into a 2-street or 3-street hand. And because we definitely don't want to fold top pair. So you have
Huh?
to decide whether you want to get all the chips in by the turn or by the river.
Looks
So
like the
the-
turn.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
it makes sense, right? Like, again, like you're vulnerable. Probably the more vulnerable your top pair is, the more you're gonna see. Maybe is that
Ooh,
maybe not. I don't know.
well, our opponent has some continues that this card is really good for. So, is this a spot where we're going to check or jam?
All in.
Yeah, hearts, we don't have. So we're not,
Yeah,
God,
I think he has enough queen 10, jack 10, ace queen.
Feel like if we had the five first, I feel like if we had a spade, we would be shoving. This might
Actually,
be
he
a spot
doesn't have
where-
ace queen pre, huh?
This might be a spot where if we had the five of spades, we would shove and we mostly check without the five of spades.
Okay.
But I think it's really
Alright.
close, and I think it can kind of go either way between betting and
Ugh.
just ripping or checking. Yeah.
Ripperoonie.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, top pair, right?
The
Top
jack
pair,
just like
stack to pot ratio half.
feels so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, just continue with the plan you had on the flop.
Oof.
Yeah, we
Ooh,
just
yeah.
got coolered, but like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess like, we're just going broke. We have top pair, SPR of less than one. I think Joey, you yelled at me in like one of the discords about that.
Guys, I got coolered so hard, so I 3-bet king five off. You what?
Yeah,
Yeah, he just flopped a set. All right. I hope our opponent's done flopping sets because we're not done flopping top pair. Okay, vulnerable top pair, Jack 9 connected, deuce disconnected. Three
Alright,
quarters pot.
we've seen this story before.
Wasn't,
Looks
wasn't Jack
familiar.
9 one of the boards where we started getting to bet purple?
I think so.
Still a gray boy.
I'm great also.
Gray. We got a couple of gray skinned aliens. We got one blue skinned alien. Anyone going
Stick-
purple?
we'll stick with gray.
All right, gray skinned alien for the win. Gray skinned alien it is.
There we go.
And they stuff it in our face.
Hold.
Well-
Same story.
We got a
We
We need a
hold
seven,
against
guys.
something.
We need the seven.
Oh,
we got the
Oh.
Running hot.
We are on fire today against this solver.
He called it.
All right.
All in.
Is this any rebetting non all in or just stuff?
Maybe the fours do a little, the smidgy of it.
I prefer just to get the hand over with and stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh, a
fair.
little bit of it.
Yeah, it was a fours,
You're
fives,
gonna
and
give me
sixes,
an
right?
ulcer with this one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now what?
Deuces, threes are pure.
yeah, I think.
Yeah,
threes are
twos,
pure.
twos, threes, and sevens, eights are pure.
I don't know. I would just jam them and just like not put myself in any spots. But okay, we'll play it
Here
Peter's
we
way.
are.
Sure.
range bet
This
small.
is probably a range small, maybe quarter-ish range bet.
Quarter.
Trying to we just want to get like the king highs and the other
Mhm.
random stuff to fold. Quarter.
With 5, yeah.
Quarter.
Quarter, yeah.
Quarter, I thought I said that.
Yeah, you did.
Ooh, we
Huh.
pick up equity out of position. I'm barreling.
What size do we like? Do we like the quarter again?
Yeah.
Trying to get some king highs, ace highs, floats to fold, especially since it's a rainbow
Full
board.
rainbow.
So a lot of his
Yeah.
continues. Yeah, I think you could like quarter.
Yeah, red seems good,
Yeah.
I guess.
Smaller.
Oh, it does like smaller.
Smaller. So maybe we don't wanna commit ourselves, huh? If we get jammed on after going red, feels pretty bad. We're like almost kind of getting the right price. Not
This
really.
just to
but-
give up now.
Okay.
Hmm.
Is it?
Or
Is
ship
this
it.
is this hand
Yeah.
is this hand bad enough that we have to shove it?
What about,
Fifth pair? Yeah, I'm giving this up.
what about shoving these?
Yeah, I mean, like, is our hand just so is our hand
So we
bad
we
enough?
see bet quarter and then we bet 10. I think we can have a lot of aces up still, right? In range? Even like pocket aces? It might not be the worst candidate to jam this.
I think I'm gonna check here and give up with a tiny bit of showdown, but you guys want to shove? I can see that too.
In game, I would be on your team, Peter. I would give up because I'm a scared little boy, but I think I've
Yeah,
talked
and I
myself
think our
into
opponent,
the
I also
jam.
think your opponent's ranges are gonna be stronger than when they get to this point than a solver.
I
all those
think our
ranges.
opponent's
Now-
going to check back a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
Yeah.
gonna win a lot with the queen shit.
Or sevens, eights.
Yeah, I mean, because the jam is trying to fold a
Oh.
queen.
Oh my
Look at
goodness.
that shit.
Never chance.
Shit.
7 chips.
Hmm.
Ooh,
yeah, the ace is, it's the dream card, right? It's
Oh,
like they're gonna go
wow.
up until,
Oh, okay, yeah.
That is
Yeah.
spicy.
In-
I mean, if
So-
you look at that spot, I would be surprised. I thought all your queens would fold. I'm sure that's probably.
would call, you mean?
I mean, I thought all the queens would fold, right? Because you're
Oh.
shoving that to get a queen to fold. You know, an river and ace will never fold, but that shouldn't be a big part of your opponent's range.
Right, so they should have to defend some queens, right?
No, I don't think, I wasn't expecting to get a queen to fold.
I didn't
Me
either.
neither.
He
And well, certainly not king,
folds.
queen.
Okay, so he mostly calls with king queen.
He found the
We just
sliver.
got him to fold
Yeah.
this time.
He rolled
Yeah.
low.
We're liver in the sliver.
We're running,
can we
we're
say
running
what
hard tonight.
our value range is, like corresponding value range? That we're.
Our corresponding
taking
value
that
range?
line? Yeah, like the river range.
Sure.
If you weight it.
See how often we get there with what we get.
Mhm.
So our river range. Not very much. We get there with a bunch of queens, largely,
Yeah, and aces, yeah.
tens, nines, and a fairly robust range of aces still. So we're protected by all these aces.
Yep.
And we still
Good.
have the best queens.
Yeah.
Ton of pocket aces, yeah.
Yeah. We double barreled. We're gonna have a lot of our ace X.
Yeah, we still have like sets here too, fives and sixes that we were here with pretty decent frequency.
Hmm, right,
Okay,
cool.
a little bit of stuff off against here. Ooh, paired board, paired low, 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 low.
I think you said low is a quarter.
I wouldn't be shocked to see gray here. As weird as
Right.
it seems.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is gray. And let's take a look at that range because we missed this spot. We should have gotten this better.
Yeah, the super low paired ones were sizing up, I think.
Yeah, because when you have your best hands, you're trying to get like, you have so many other worse pairs that you can get value from. That just
Right.
have to continue and will sometimes even pile. Like when you have kings and he has like sevens or eights, sometimes he just like rips.
We also have a lot of vulnerable 4x, right? We have our king 4 off. Or do we? Queen 4 off a little.
Yeah, I mean, we have slivers of 4x, but I mean, I'm sure this is probably just a pure range.
So yeah, when we look at the whole of the range, it's anything under 10 is primarily betting big, a little betting quarter. Right, 4-4 deuce in there.
So which
Okay.
hand classes wanna do what? Like the
Ah,
ace high, I
take a-
wasn't sure, right? Cuz we do have some quarter bets there still.
So what are we doing here by filtered? Over pairs mixing. Top pair wants to use the half pot size. Ace high is mixing. King high is mixing, no made hand. Yeah, like it's mixing with our over pairs is what the line is. Going big.
Yeah, and it looks like it wants to bet bigger with the more vulnerable ones.
Yeah, bigger, smaller. Right? Jacks are the transition point.
Mhm.
Which is different because Peter, I feel like we looked at this like a week or two ago, and I remember talking about we had a totally different heuristic on a different board, but it's interesting.
So, well, we were doing 100 big blinds then, so
Yeah,
definitely going to be a different spot.
Yep.
He's 10.
Now what?
Now what? Well, we have some spades that would continue here.
I think the spades mostly want to continue.
But I mean, we have an ace high. Do we want to just show this down? Do we want to just try and get this to showdown?
I'm very
Can we
curious
bluff
how his
river with ace high?
flop calling range looks.
Is
Are we
calling
trying
range?
to? Are we
think-
like
I thi- I
value
think
betting against worse ace high still or something weird?
Let's take a
I
look at what
could-
his.
I kinda wanna double here. Not really large though. Cause if a spade comes off on the river, we can pile it in.
Don't look.
So his continue range. Still pretty robust, 36%.
So, yeah, those ace X suited. Oh, he's like jamming some stuff there, huh?
Yeah, so he's got lots of ace high, lots of king high, lots of queen high, lots of jack high. Really, any two Broadway cards, right? And these are all probably with a backdoor flush.
What a sticky guy.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm all
Well,
in.
He knows we're messing around here, right?
I have
He
ace
sees the
10, I'm
type of
all in.
he sees the type of stuff we've been turning over all day long, and it is the right decision.
Value jam. What did you
Yeah.
didn't hit that 6? Oh, he did hit the
He
6!
hit the six.
You called me with that on the flop? Taking a note.
Ace 6 of clubs. Like if you're gonna find a fold, it's with the club here, right? Oh,
Wow.
Ace six of clubs, it's like a 0.047, like probably,
first
yeah.
of all, we called our 3-bet with that.
Oh, man.
It was
All right.
suited.
No, I think that's, yeah, the 3-bet call.
That's a lesson for us. If we're in the button there, we gotta call with all of our aces on that low paired board.
Or
Yep.
jam them. It was ace 8 suited and up was jamming.
Yeah.
But if they never have the 3-bet bluff, it might turn into a punt pretty quick.
Ooh,
Okay, so
7.
this is one of those boards that starts to do the really funky all-in stuff. I don't know that this hand is one of those hands, though.
So
With the
this
king of a spade.
The king of spades. I don't know. I'm like so tempted to just say that this like rips sometimes. Because-
Perfect.
Well, alright,
Because we're pushing equity, maybe our sevens want to do that more than our sixes, but I think our whole range
Yeah.
wants to bet.
we
I wanna
have,
bet
we have a
5.
marginal made hand.
It's a value hand. This is a value hand. I wanna bet 5.
On a gray.
Okay,
Gray
so
for
here's some red,
life.
here's some gray.
I'm checking.
So I think this is going to be a more of a polarized spot. So I think we are going to see some checks and some grays here. So
Or even maybe bigger.
no,
Wow.
it is Danny going deep for the Stuffalophagus. Running
He was
expert.
right.
Yeah,
Amy had it too, right?
Oh,
yeah,
no,
I
no,
thought
I was
so.
saying
Yeah,
bet
I
5.
thought so. Yeah, I thought the sevens would do it more than the sixes, but because I thought
And
all of
the-
your vulnerable 7x would just want to like get the money in now on this board, but I'm
Jamie.
surprised that the 6x does it too. But I knew this was the type of board. I remember this type of board is a board that's gonna have some like crazy big bets.
18% of
There is a
our
lot of
stuff.
quarter too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
With
it's
hand, but
This is the block of quarters, and then correspondingly, this is the block of quarters.
yeah.
Right? Your
makes
very
sense.
best, your very best overcards, and your very worst overcards. The cards that kind of are on the bottom side of this, right? When you have a 4, you have a 3, which is the gut shot and an over. So yeah,
Yeah,
and then
but
the stuff in the middle, just
Yeah, it just says with the sevens and sixes, it runs it, and then with your fives, it's just using those to balance. Even some ace four it does it with. Hmm.
The big thing,
Ace nine off.
no checks on this board.
Yep.
Yeah, I should have. I knew that before saying check too.
I was surprised.
It's
I thought it
getting
would
late.
be polar, but
No,
we go.
on like 8 and below, we almost
Oh.
didn't have range bets.
Got us.
just traps us with the aces. All right,
We had a lot of outs though.
V9. What? How did this slip in here?
Wait, there is the sliver though.
Two and a
Uh-oh,
half
we
percent.
gotta play a call? This is boring.
I don't know what we're gonna do here. I haven't studied this
Check.
spot in like 3 days.
It's a check. We didn't
Oh
We
yeah,
didn't
we
see
did
the
3 bet.
aggression.
We're not gonna lead.
Okay,
call.
Alright. we're gonna Louis Philippe this one.
Alright. Check.
Check.
Oh,
2,
block.
2 or 1.
One. It is.
Shit.
One.
Look at that. Good job.
One he folds. All right. Back to the 3-bet study. Oh,
This might have a sliver of small, but I think it's mostly ripping.
Yeah, ace queen, ace jack do
Yeah.
a lot of jamming.
yeah. I'm
Really?
pretty pure here with this. Right. I know it's
Oh,
gonna
wow.
mix. I gotta be honest. I never like do this under 40 bigs. All right. So this is the best we got.
You mean you
Like a
always
half-
jam it or you don't?
Yeah, I
Wow.
always jam this hand.
Okay.
Well, maybe it's gray.
I would, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yep,
5 or
Both
gray.
are just fine. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not a hit. It's not a hit that needs a ton of protection. So
Happy days.
Got
Ooh.
Shape.
9.
it's 9. Yeah.
It is. All right. Well, we saw a board like this before.
This one was in the half pot? No. It was a quarter pot.
Yeah, I think
Was
this
it?
is.
Did it go all the way down to jacks?
This one's a little higher. The board's a little more connected with his range.
True.
I like half.
I like gray.
This
We
is on
blocked
the
some of this stuff.
bottom half.
I like half. This could.
Yeah, I think I like gray.
Yeah, this could be. Yeah, I think it's probably just always half. I was just
Yeah.
I was trying to talk myself into this being quarter, but I don't think it was ever quarter.
So how about 9s, 10s, jacks this size? Kings, queens, aces this size.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I like
yeah,
that.
yeah, I mean, yeah, queens. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think of the cutoff as
There we
queens
go.
or tens.
That's what I just said. This is the bottom half of overpairs.
Yeah,
Gotcha, yeah.
Big
that makes.
call. Oh, happy
Good
days.
call.
Wants to run equity.
There's a straight draw.
Yeah,
Oh.
get it fixed.
Funnily enough, I saw a hand just like this take place at live poker and the guy folded jacks face up. And then the guy showed him 9s in a
Oh.
live, like. Yeah.
Speaking
couple
of that,
hundred mil.
I'm gonna take
Speaking
a
of live
moment
poker.
to take a look at this here. So here's a hand that I played the other day. And under the gun raised. The next guy 3-bet. We have ace queen. What do you guys do? Under the gun raises.
Openers.
Next guy
Same as
3-bet.
you.
How
We're
deep?
pretty
What were their
Well-
stats?
70, and the guy who 3-bet has like 60.
Oh,
We're-
okay, so it's
he's
still
deep
pretty
too.
deep.
Fold 4-bet to about
16-ish.
2.5. The Three bet size.
So we 3-bet to 14.3.
You mean 4-bet, right?
Or sorry, we 4-bet to 14.3.
Yeah.
He folds and then shows us pocket jacks.
Oops.
So the 3-better folded jacks
He 3-bet and folded pocket jacks face up.
that deep.
He has us covered in a PKO with an $84 booty.
Oh, no,
Doesn't even
no
want to see a
way.
flop.
No, he's got a shovel in you there.
Or at least call, right?
In a PKO, he's just gotta run equity with that.
Yeah, we immediately tag the guy 4-bet relentlessly.
It's yeah, I mean it's probably just always a call. Like a
Yeah.
4-bet. I don't think you're ever 5-bet shipping that.
Yeah, that was the
Jacks.
$21 big game on Sunday. We went
Yeah.
pretty deep, right? $84 in booties. So this is pretty deep on.
Yeah.
This was to me, this was a crazy spot. But the thinking there is people don't have 4-bet bluffs. So find your 4-bet bluffs and be okay with 4-bet folding, ace queen.
Give him a
that's
little
the
bit
thing.
credit. Give him a little bit
Yeah.
credit because under the gun open and he 3-bet and you 4-bet. Maybe he thought he's behind.
Yeah. I mean
Sure.
you gotta see you've gotta like you probably just always just have to call there. Like I just don't think you
He
you-
could be behind, but the math of it is
Yeah, you can still set mine almost.
if Peter
Yeah.
has ace king in his range too, Jacks has gotta be in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Right. It's like because you're just if
Correct,
you're
but
yeah, ace
yes,
king, ace
yes.
queen, or if ace queen or ace king are there at 80 frequency, you have to just call there.
How about that? Even if I have aces, you just flop a set. It's only
Yeah.
8 more chips.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
8
that, I
more
mean,
chips
your
and he
odds are
covers.
yeah, and the PKO thing just makes it pretty much a snap call.
Yeah,
Right.
when he does flop a set, like if I have aces, he's almost certainly going to stack me in a
Yeah.
4-bet pot.
And a lot of times what's gonna happen is like if you completely brick the flop there and it goes check you bet small and it's like low card flop, he could just pile on you and like put you in a miserable spot.
Ooh, speaking of
All right.
miserable spots,
I know what I'm doing.
Tell us.
This one bet quarter
I'm
to
not
balance,
gonna say something before you answer.
right? It's like kings and.
Why
this
you
one
always
bet quarter.
wait?
Hmm?
You always wait. You're gonna say this one.
someone gave us a quarter. What do you think, Saeed?
Oh no, I'm not giving this time. This is
Okay.
Oh, I'm oh, this is
Everyone's
another
holding
one
up.
of those. I wonder if this is one of the ones where we stuff to
All right.
balance out the 7x and 8x that we shove.
Remember the last time we looked?
That was with an overcard more than the undercard.
Hmm?
I think
No,
this
but
is a
the-
much
the all-in-
better
When
flop
we
for the
saw the
button than it is for
range.
us.
Yeah,
When we
it
saw
was
the
betting a
range,
quarter pot with like kings and then king with the gut shot and the open ender, right?
yeah,
So we're going red.
there was portion that was shoving all in, that it was mostly around top pair and second pair. And hands that were below with an over, like I think it was a queen 3 last time we looked at with a 4 is low card. Queen 3 was betting on the smaller end.
All right.
Oh wow. Nope.
This one just is giving us the full Monty.
Wow.
And the difference is that our nines are in this spot. We want to probably bet smaller with our nines because our nines actually like could be the best hand. Like if we actually spike one
It
occasionally.
doesn't make sense then, because on 7-6-5, we saw what it,
It was 7-6-4.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, 7-6-4, and it was taking some of the fives, and it was like,
I think most fives bet small, but here it does it with the four, okay.
So here it must connect too well with his continuing range, right? Because he's continuing with suited eights, suited nines, and then offsuit tens, which are still gutters here. So this board connects too well with his range, as opposed to when it was 7-6-4, which falls below his range. So we do have some stuffluffagus stuff with an 8, with a 7, with tens, jacks, queens, not kings and aces. And king 5 is just one of those ones that's going to find it. The nines are primarily checking here or betting small.
There's just less quarter here in general than on the last one, right?
See, the king four is what I thought the king five would be doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, the king 4 is the level down, and the king 4 balances
Yeah.
it because there's less of this 5 sizing, right, on this board.
Yeah, on the other board, there was more of it with the upper end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the 8 connects his calling range too well to this board. Right? When it was a 4, it was much it was too disconnected, and so it had much more of a active strategy here. 36% checking. The other board, there was 0% checking. Oh. So checking is also a thing here, but not with this hand. Oh. 6-5.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah. What a
Bad
stonesy
shape.
call, eh?
I know.
So
I think it's
is
kind of figured
everyone
us out now.
is everyone gonna be this brave in 3-bet pots this week?
I will if I roll high.
Oh, well, we have an 8. It's a locked up equity board.
And a gut shot.
This one might check. I don't know. 7, 8, 9, huh?
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of checking. Like stuff here really is showing us it wants to run equity with mid
It
pair.
keeps getting higher and higher though. It's like it's playing with us. I like it. I wonder if now we're getting up there, we start to get a little check.
Okay, well, we'll see. Anyone
Let's
else want to
see.
venture into the waters?
I am not checking.
Yeah, I'm not checking. I just have no clue what sizing on.
Yeah, I am
My
trying to
instinct,
figure out the
my
side.
instinct on like a 3-liner like this is small. But that's in a single raise pot.
Yep.
I'm not sure what it does in a 3-bet pot.
I still think our nines want to show. I just don't know what it wants to do with this specific 8. I feel like it's still gonna want to shove some 9x and 8x here. I just don't know with the over and the and
Got there.
the gutter if this is one of those hands that wants to do that.
On this one, I'm gonna be choosing the all-in. I'm gonna be the bad guy.
Alright,
But
Daddy's checking, Said's all in. So I think the other element is sometimes we've had a card of the flush before. We don't have a card of the flush now. So it's gonna be there's gonna be more bad turns for us.
Right.
So I think that's gonna push it towards this size, right? We're looking at it.
alright. Rip it in there.
And it's a checkaroonie.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
But the EV difference is pretty minimal. Queen check and punt.
Dan is right.
Ooh, all right. Danny.
Wait. So
I think
Since you were checking,
now we blasted, right?
Now you want
I
to
think
blast.
we just call now.
without the, I wonder if it's something with whether the spade makes a difference. Maybe it doesn't make that much of a difference because it's the jack of spades.
Yeah, I think we blasted.
I think we blasted too.
You guys are right. Nailed it.
Nail.
So it's checking it because it's one of our strong, because it's a strong enough.
One of the check raise.
It's one of our
type of-
logical check raise candidates.
Yeah.
It's like, which is interesting, like 10-8 and queen. Yeah, I mean, it would make like 10-8 and queen 8 would make sense.
So what is check raising here? All in.
Yeah. Jack 7, Jack 8, Jack 9. Makes sense.
This whole block here.
Yeah.
Your two pair, your pair
A
plus,
pair and
pair
a
plus,
flush, a
gotcha.
straight draw.
Player to draw,
Pair to draw. Pair to draw.
Pair
Pair
and
to draw.
draw.
or your straights, like your
then
10-6 off. Queen 6 off, queen
open-ended.
6 off.
On the bottom end with an over. And often with a spade. Right?
That's the spade right there.
Let's see the previous nodes as well.
Sure.
Like global check strategy and then his stabbing strategy.
So our strategy first to act is primarily checking this flop with locked up equity in our opponent's range. It is betting big with a 9,
At the 9.
betting big with some 10s. It's betting big with some 10s with the 7s, 9s with the 7, some of these ones. King 6.
Ace,
Uh,
ace checking most or half the time.
Checking these 7s and 8s as well. Sick with the aces. And
Yeah,
then
it's a
our
good board
opponent's
to-
stab.
So he'll stab a lot, right?
Yeah, he's primarily stabbing. And he's micro stabbing and small stack stabbing. And he does have some all ins as well. Right? He has a 9, he wants to go all in. If he has the ace of spades and an over, ace of spades and an open-ended, ace of spades and top pair. And then lots of stabbing all over here. Right? But still a pretty healthy check range as well. So one thing we've seen over and over again in these 3-bet pots is the willingness to kind of run equity when we have a piece, when we are in our bluff range.
And a lot of times second pair is just good enough.
Ooh, monotone board. Low, low,
Equity.
low.
Bet small, high frequency. That's
Yeah.
fine, bet too.
No, actually, I think when we looked at the monotone, it wasn't doing the standard bet small.
What was it doing? I don't remember the,
It actually had some pretty big bets in it, which I wasn't used to seeing with monotone boards.
Oh, it was the connectedness of the top 2 cards that drove up the bet size.
Okay.
unlike the
like-
king, queen ones and stuff.
So like 9-8 would have done it more often than 9-6.
Like when we see 9-6, if we change this to 9-8, we'll take a look at this and we'll change this to an 8 and we'll see how it changes the strategy. But-
Okay,
Yeah, I think this is gonna be still primarily these small and medium sizings.
and there was a fair amount of checking still, right? Well, not on this one, but.
Yeah.
In general,
Yeah, I mean, we just want to bet small here. We're just going to generate some fold equity from hearts, clubs, and diamonds that kind of missed. So betting
yeah,
small is going to be pretty prominent here. But we are going to take a look at this and we're going to play with this and see if we can take a look at the range and then see how it changes if we can make this a 9-8 instead of a 9-6.
Well, we can also look at the reports real quick again
Yep.
for monotone.
So yeah. So 3% of 9. Let's do this at 8. 8% of
Oh.
9, but
Yeah,
it starts to
40%
find some of the
checking.
purples. right? 1% of it's coming all in. But we can take a look at those reports for monotone again. Reports,
Yeah, there's like,
monotone. And so,
So I'm used to seeing like, it would all be red and your orange, most monotone boards.
yeah, so it's 986 and 987. It actually requires the connectedness of all three cards here.
Hmm.
87,
Um,
865, 765.
Double lockdown boards.
It requires connectivity of all three cards. To
yeah,
really
but even
start
then,
generating.
it even then, it's.
Yeah.
Not much. I mean, it's all
And a
about,
lot of checking on those ones. You either
Yeah.
blast it or check, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like this has got to be 85% checking. 7% small medium bet and 7% jamming.
yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Crazy. That's small. Okay. Yeah, good. All right. Fours. Oh yeah, this one sometimes did it. Give it a little click, get ourselves in trouble. Oh, 1097. Well, speaking of a locked up monotone board, high frequency check, low frequency jam.
Yeah, but I don't think, well, I don't think the fours would be the hand that we would do that with, if we're gonna do it with anything. I think our low frequency value jams are gonna probably be our overpairs.
Yep,
And yeah,
just checking a lot. Well, I mean, against this disrespectful bet size, do we have anything to do but call?
Yeah, just call.
yeah, call with the four of spades for sure. I think if we didn't have the four of spades, you could think about maybe turning this into a bluff.
That might have been standard sizing for the button on a monotone board like that.
Very
Probably
likely.
is. Yeah, probably is.
Little bit of weed lead. Well, I think we're being fished on the line. I think I'm getting out of the pot.
I would fold here, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's a mix because we have the spade.
No, I wouldn't, I don't know if I would like calling here.
It's
I'd rather-
primarily.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it game, but I would think that the solver might like want you to call a little bit just because we don't have, we have like we have a spade basically.
Yeah, I know we have a spade, but it's a 4 high spade. That's,
Yeah.
So do we lead on this second card on board pairing? Like we call some nines, we call some nines. We get here with some nines.
Well, if we lead, it's gonna be a shove, but I wouldn't find it.
I think our leads would be, we would have block leads and it would probably be with maybe a sliver of Queen X.
But would we block lead with this combo?
We would not block with this combo. I don't think we'd ever block with our under pairs. I think we want to have something that is, you want to have something that is blocking boats. So you probably want to have a 7 or maybe even I think 10's probably just want to call. So I think you would probably want to block with your queens for value and then maybe like your 7s as a bluff would be like
Well,
maybe some.
we block some flushes.
So remember, we jam 2s and 3s pre-flop. So this is the worst pair that we get here with.
And we have a spade. I wouldn't be shocked if this shoves.
All right, let's take a peek. It's just a check.
I mean, we have a
we have
slight
some
sliver
nines
of
too.
showdown value here.
Yeah, we also have some nines that we got here somehow with.
I don't
that-
think fours have showdown value.
They've got ace of spades that missed. Or king 10, which we lose to.
So are there any, like, he might just have like the ace of spades that gives up here. He takes its hand to showdown value. Let's see what he's not betting on the river. Yeah, he's got some ace high here. A little bit. A little bit of ace high. That we beat.
Yeah, it's not much, but we've got a little showdown.
So there's a little bit of check, a little bit of ace high that we're okay with. All right. Let's do one or two more here. Oh boy. Getting in the weeds now. See, this one for me, this one is one I would have. It wouldn't be very intuitive for me to 3-bet bluff this. I kind of think of this one as a middling hand. I think I'm going to overcall
I
this
wouldn't
hand,
find this.
which is why it's important to study it. Okay, king low low.
So we have no
Disconnected board.
showdown. I mean, do we get to size up? Because of our- just regarding our range and think about what our holding. I mean, I'd like to go half pocket. Generate more fold equity.
I think I'm going red.
Red.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
think
betting,
I think this would primarily be a quarter. We'll have some bigger bets, but I think those bets will be
The other thing I'm thinking
mostly.
about is this has missed so much of his range.
I think a lot of our better, like king X is gonna wanna bet bigger, and then that'll get balanced out by like.
Well, if our king X wants to
Stuff,
bet
so
big,
some,
shouldn't the bottom
there's
of our
gonna,
range
there's
want to bet
probably,
bigger
there's
too?
probably gonna be some stuff that's just completely like nonsense. They
So
wanna
yeah,
bet bigger.
we have worse jacks that we get to bluff here. Will we have jack 7 or jack 6?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So they both were just fine. But yeah, like as our jack gets worse and worse, it's probably going to pick up the size a little bit. Right? Whatever our
good that we're-
worst is here.
It's good that we're disagreeing about the two right sizings.
Yeah.
It shows we're on the right track.
Okay. That is, well, if the jack of diamonds, it's not good though.
That's not good. So either polarize or give up, I think.
But I mean, we're never winning this hand if we check.
I mean, this is the very bottom of our range, so we either punt it or we're the white flag.
I mean, there is some.
I'm giving up.
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff now that got there, a little bit of, there's some 6-5
Yeah,
that got there,
wait.
there's some ace-5 that got there.
but how did the 3 improve the button's range?
Well,
It's
didn't
not-
any ace X all of a sudden, so obviously we've got a straight on board.
Yeah,
Ace
ace-5,
X, ace
6,
five, or ace four,
button's gonna
or-
have all of the ace-5 off, he's gonna, well, maybe not, he's gonna have some ace-5, he's gonna have
He's
some
gonna have the
6-5.
suited varieties.
He's gonna have the suited ace 5s.
I don't think it's so much that the 3 was good for his range. It's just that he folded his trash on the flop. Right? So he's
Exactly.
just here with a third less of his opening range.
So any ace X that continued now has the cut shot, right?
Yeah, and so, yeah, that's the big thing, right, is that the ace-X probably
So-
not going to fold ace-X to a bet.
The highest EV play is still to bet, but checking is the predominant strategy here, which is interesting. So I would be very inclined to bet this with this combo. With the whole thing that I said, like, we're just never winning this hand now unless we river a 9 or a jack and it goes check check.
I think the problem is that you just have to double a lot when you do that. It's pretty dicey.
My other issue is that I don't know if that sizing generates that much fold equity.
Yeah, that's what Jamie means, right? Double
Yeah.
as in bet turn, bet river.
Yeah, I mean, you end up having to double that a lot, and
Oh my goodness. Is this a shove ever?
No, it's never a shove.
Eh. Just a 3-bet.
just a 3-bet ace 2
Just
off.
a 3-bet. Ace deuce, let's get loose.
So I think we've got showdown, but he has in his filter range. He has other ace X. I wonder if we have to check with the worst ace X.
So it is two Broadway cards. So this is going to be a spot where our range is going to have some checks.
I wanna bet 5 or 2.
I kind
I
of want.
think this is a check sometimes.
I think we have top pair with an SPR of 1.5. I think this is just a big bet. We're just fine getting it. He's gonna have a lot of flush draws. He's got a lot of queen X. Solver's always gonna call with a queen here. It's always gonna call with its flush draws. It's gonna call with probably king jack. You just want to bet big, and get
maybe you're
money.
right. I just think when our SPR is that low, it's easy. I mean, it's likely all going in by river. So
Yeah. I mean, it's
So
just
what do you think about the idea then, Jamie, of checking to check raise, if that's your thinking?
um
Checking allows us to get to the turn cheap
But-
sometimes.
because I think that I could take some maybe like ace 10, ace jack, some of my value ace X and do that with. Whereas a hand like this, I'm just fine with folding out like. Not even folding out, but I'm fine with running this hand. Whereas a hand like ace jack, I'm okay playing that slower. If that
Okay.
makes sense. Because
But-
he's going to value
I'm-
cut himself a lot more, right? He's gonna value
wa-
own himself way more.
I'm thinking to set up stacks for the turn so that we can shove on any safe turn for value.
What about the idea of putting no more chips in this pot and trying to show down ace deuce?
It's worth a bet somewhere.
No, top pair with 1.5 SPR, I think we gotta play for stacks.
Okay. Let's give it a go. Yeah, primarily the frequency. Tiny bit of checking.
Cool. I'm messing this up. Good to
Yeah, and
know.
I mean, I can see the merit in checking just because again, we're always. But now now you're just praying you don't get a bad turn.
We got a
Yeah.
great
this is
turn.
a shove all day. With
Yeah.
But now we have the easiest. I
Oh,
think it's
day.
the easiest of shoves.
Yeah, this makes sense. I would have bet 5 and then been like, well, what size now?
Jack.
luck box.
Yeah, because the way this is, it sets up the nice 2-street geosizing where you get to bet half turn, I
Mhm.
mean half flop, half turn.
Yeah.
It's kind of what you want to do in those spots a lot. This
Ooh,
one's interesting.
ace mid low.
Is this hand good enough to take this line? I don't know.
Oh, it's like I think this time we go a quarter. But I
Quarter
don't
and
know,
maybe
actually. I
sometimes
could be talked
10%.
into gray again. I don't love the 10% here. I think we're a little vulnerable for that.
Well, I think we're a little marginal.
We are a
Alright.
little marginal, but if he doesn't have the ace, we're way ahead.
Yeah. So 5s, a little bit of 2 and a little bit of 9. So not wrong. Just find a size and pick a bet. We're all very competitive EVs here.
But yeah, like now what? We're just all in?
Brickety brick brick with a brick and a brick brick. Uh,
I don't think we can be. Maybe now we go 3. I don't know. What makes sense here? Alright, let's think.
I don't think we want to try and put all the chips in.
I think we could, for the same reason we are interested in betting flop, I kinda am still interested in continuing. But I'm with you that I'm gonna check rivers, but I kinda wanna bet
We've
red.
we've already condensed his range.
Yeah,
I mean, and we have a weak second pair. How many streets of value do you really think we can get?
I
I'm a
think,
greedy boy.
yeah,
How about check raise only?
it's like every sizing does a little bit other than
Yeah.
block.
Okay, went check on the turn. I'm just hoping to get the showdown here with second pair, which has become third pair. It's gotten downgraded.
Yeah, I think it's either check or bet three.
Now I think we bet three. Nope, alright.
Pretty
Well
close
done.
on EV, but
Does he hit this jack like occasionally and
Oh,
that makes us
wow.
wanna not? Ay,
Fold.
get me out. I
I
fold.
think this is a fold, but I would not be shocked if some of the sevens call.
I mean, I think solver's gonna mix, but I think it's a fold.
I mean,
He
I
has-
wouldn't
he
be
has
shocked if
king eight
like,
of
I wouldn't be
spades,
shocked
but
if some of our
whatever.
better sevens call here, just because we don't have much else in our range. We, other than ace X, and I think if we only call with ace X here, we're just getting like value owned. We're just getting like owned here.
Yeah,
So-
so are we,
it's
so
gonna
are we
mix, but
calling with all our jack?
Well, we don't, how many
I was
jacks do
just-
we have? We don't really have that many jacks.
I know, I was just trying to go through my head, what jacks would I
We
have?
have some that, like the jack nine from before where we bet and then we just give up. And then we spike a pair.
Like if we had jack nine of spades, maybe?
No, I think,
That one
The
might
jack nine
double.
of spades, we would be betting to like push equity. I'm pretty sure.
Just
yeah,
jack nine off, jack
would
eight
be,
off.
yeah. Actually, we wouldn't have jack nine of spades in a three bet pot.
Oh, king jack.
Sure.
Yeah, but would we still have king jack in our range?
Savage.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think we have enough jacks in our range that we can fold this.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's exactly where I was going with this. We probably, I didn't think we would go down to 10-7, but I figured if we had king seven, I'm pretty sure king seven is just always gonna call here.
Ten
Queen
seven might be
seven.
one of the better ones. It's better than like, well, we don't have those in range actually. Yeah, I don't know what we have.
And
Yep.
I don't think we have a lot of aces in our range left.
Well, let's take a look at range height.
Oh, you're right,
Um,
it's the worst one.
Oh yeah, we just have slivers of aces. We just don't have a lot here on this line, but yeah, like it's calling all the sevens.
We have no aces pretty much.
Jack nine off is there.
No.
King
Very,
jack,
Yeah.
queen jack.
These
Very
real
They're all
tiny
tiny
slivers.
Yeah.
No.
Everything's a sliver cuz of pre-flop, I mean, right?
Yeah, it's because we're betting so much pre. We just, so we have like, so we have these little slivers of jacks that got there, but we can't depend on those to be our calls when he shows.
No, I'm saying pre-flop, we're only three betting these,
Yeah,
well, alright, maybe they're slivers for different reasons.
Slivers of slivers.
yeah.
King jack is nice, right? Nice and robustly in there. All right, give it one more good one here.
Nice value bet.
This is queens, yeah. Queen eight. Oh, I don't think we've three bet a lot of queens today, so this is a good one. Oh,
That's a great one now.
oh. So I think the pair. What did we want to do in the pair strategies?
He's lacking in seven combos,
That is
right?
right. He does not have a lot of sevens here. In a three
But
bet.
he has nines, right?
He has
Yeah.
he has a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
well suited.
Our
I
hand's
don't
pretty
think he
nice for betting.
I don't think he has a lot of offsuited nines.
No, he has all his suited nines though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think this is gonna be heavy bet spot. It's just whether this combo. I would think this combo just goes up quarter, but I could be convinced it goes half too.
I for sure want to bet blocking the continuations with spades and the continuations with hearts. If I'm gonna bet an offsuit combo, it's gonna be this one.
Yeah, for
Plus with
sure.
the
I'm,
eight.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just wondering what if this plays better as a quarter or a half.
I
We're
think
also
that
blocking
that's like
nine,
four.
eight of hearts, that's good.
Quarter seems good.
Yeah, yeah. I
Also-
think half. I think we would want to bet half with hands to push a little more equity.
also, we're backdoor, but the backdoor straight could be to the nuts.
Yeah.
The run of kick 10 jack.
Quarter, yeah.
So a paired board also drives down the sizing a little bit.
Yeah.
So, right, like we would have a lot of half pot bets here, but the paired board drives it down a little bit. Oh, the brickiest of all bricks, the loose deuce.
Where's the die?
I think
Do we-
we
do we roll high?
polarize, I think, well, we can't really polarize, we don't have the SPR for it.
You
Yeah,
could. You could bet gray.
I still think we're just betting quarter again.
The polarized would be just stupid.
I
yeah,
think
it's
it's gonna
just
be like
stacked up, like, I'm very
75%
confused on
check.
turns like this because, we don't have an SPR to play.
If we were gonna
75%
poll, we
check,
could go.
25% 14.
Yeah, that could be better. Actually, I think that might be better than a block. I think there is some blocking here, though.
All right.
But maybe I'm psycho. Hold on. I don't know.
What
Click
do
the
you
button.
think about psycho?
If you had a 7, how big would you want to bet here?
Yeah.
I don't
So
think
we
our
go for
sevens
some
bet. I don't
cheap
think our
bluffs
sevens
too, though.
actually bet big because our sevens are fine just going bet small.
If I had a 7, I'd wanna check and, let him
Actually,
go
no, if I had
big.
a 7, I would bet like quarter and then try to like get my stacking on a river. Like I would not check here because I would not check here. I just try to bet like small and try to get like
Stack to pot ratio is already less than 1. It's not going to be
Yeah.
hard to get it in on the river. Like if I had a 7, I would be betting 3 chips here. So I think this hand's going to want to bet 3 chips as well.
Team check.
Okay. Team check. 1% for me, but it
Well,
is
I
by
was
far the
pretty
worst.
close on the frequency.
14.
80, 16.
Way to nail the check.
Huh. So it is, yeah, it is the, huh, alright.
Well, we have a nut blocker. Is
Yeah,
this
we're all in here
gonna
for sure.
Stuffaluffagus? I mean, is having the queen of spades really bad here? We want him to have the queen of
yes, it is very bad because we do not want because we have like negative blockers now.
Not bad enough. I'm all in.
We also
I-
blocked the nuts though, so
Well, kind of.
Take
Like
my
there's all the
chips,
full
mister.
houses, the
I
straights,
mean,
right? Like,
can we get a 9 to fold here?
well, for sure. Like if you take this sizing, I think a 9 folds.
Yeah,
I'm a bet 18.
A 9 is in pain.
Okay. Saeed's going for almost all the cookies. 2/3 pot.
I think it's shove or give up.
I'm highly
Yeah.
on team give up here.
Yeah, I think you just yeah,
Ah.
I think with on the river, we just our hand is anytime you have a
Everything's
spade, you
just
just have
that,
negative blockers, right? You're blocking the types of hands that
Yeah.
would
Two blockers.
yeah.
What did he have, Peter?
The 8, well, let's take a look. The 8 is good, it's blocking value, but the queen is really bad. It's blocking his bluffs. And he just stuffs the turkey.
Alright.
We're
Show
giving
the
up.
9.
Fucking king.
Ooh.
Interesting check by him on the turn.
So what do we
Yeah,
believe?
what a check on the turn.
Well, it's because we're again, let's take a look at the node, but like, are we checking a lot of 7s on that turn?
Think we are.
We should be betting a
A
lot on that
complete
turn.
brick, right?
On a
I mean,
complete brick,
like,
we should be doubling a lot. So when
Okay.
we're checking, we should be checking with a lot of showdown value stuff, which should entice him to bet more
I
than
don't
anything.
think that's right. That on a complete brick, we double a lot.
So on the flop, we're primarily betting.
Yep.
Right? Only 10% checking and just kind of a sliver of everything checks. Right? All of our sevens are finding the least amount of checks. So when we're in here with a 7, it's definitely going to bet. When it comes to our strategy on the turn after he calls, our 7s are double barreling small.
Alright,
No check.
Right? Our 9s are double barreling big, except for ace 9, which is small. And all of our stuff that's bigger than that is mixing and sizing.
so we just found the combo that checks the most, basically. Cause
Yeah,
we block
queen
all of his,
8.
floats that we want to fold. Yeah, it's checking the most out of anything.
Yeah, if you look all around us, it's betting everything else.
So the
But this
reason
is
it
the
makes a
one
good
that
flop
does.
bet is the same reason it makes a good turn check. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the queen highs and jack highs that are kind of check effectively
Yeah.
giving up.
It goes from 1.92 to 1.33. And then when we get there on the river, it's now a 0.16. Right? Like,
we do jam a ton of queen 8, just not that one still.
yeah. The
Even
reason
some
why it
with,
made a
spade.
yeah, the reason why it made a good one on the flop, blocking both ones. Now it's bad blocking stuff we really want him to have.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's the worst queen 8. So yeah.
alright,
like,
I feel
yeah.
better now.
So
In turn, our primary size was red with most hands.
on
Or
the
was it a
turn, our
mixed
double
bag?
barrel was mixing, primarily red,
Okay,
but also very prominently the all in and the micro, and probably the least is the 55% pot size, right? Which is really just doing with a 9.
Can you see what the button's doing on the turn? Like what? I'm just curious about that king spot. Why it's checking so much.
It is checking kings and aces at full frequency here, trying to trap us in.
Okay, that makes some sense. Is it also, but we're not, yeah, I mean, that's why the spots feel so weird. I guess maybe it makes sense that it's, but yet it's betting all of its 7s, which at a high frequency, which is, so it's never trapping, or rarely, I guess it's doing a little trapping, but
Yeah,
primarily betting its
trapping.
7s, but it's, so I'm wondering if it's betting aces and kings to, because those are hands that are going to, that don't, I'm trying to figure out why it's checking kings and aces right here. It doesn't seem intuitive to me.
It wants us to make a pair on the river.
Yep.
The deuce is such a brick that
Yeah.
it's way behind a 7. It's way in front of a 9.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh
It's
yeah,
just
okay, so
hoping
it makes sense. It's a way
Yeah.
ahead, way behind spot. Then you, into those spots, you do a lot of
Yeah.
checking.
Yeah, so when it has the king of spades, it bets. And when it doesn't, it checks. Right? It's hoping for us to turn spades into a bluff and him to be able to bluff catch very easily with these hands. Right? It's trying to keep us wide.
keep the fish on the line.
Mission
The fish on the
accomplished.
line.
But a
All right.
7 is just too good, I guess, and.
Yeah.
Wants to go for value.
I think that was a pretty good session, guys. If you're watching this on YouTube, check out some of the other study sessions. We also have a poker Discord, poker study for you. That we have a group of guys who get together and girls who get together. We do study sessions. We have voice channels where we get together and meet. We have all kinds of different boards where we post our final table scores and our big victories, as well as spots where we look at solves and different spots Some guys also post some logs with how they are doing. So if you're interested in getting involved with the community, reach out to us on Discord or through YouTube. Thanks for checking out the video. Oops.
Thanks, Pete. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, Peter.
Right.
Yeah, cheers to